We're here today to celebrate IONIQ. It's a really important car for us. We're really pleased that What Car named it Best Hybrid for the second year on the bounce. So in celebration, we're here to make a really great TV commercial just to celebrate the fact that it's won the award.
I mean, it literally does look like we took out the Death Star.
We started thinking about ways in which we could convey this kind of idea of fuel and electricity working together.
You get more out of every single drop, so I thought, wouldn't it be great if you have this droplet that's dropping through the air and then it gets a piece of glass in slow motion, you think it's just going to like dissipate on the glass, instead it actually smashes through it.
I remember when I got sent the initial idea and I thought it was brilliant. It was so simple. It was the first script that I'd ever been sent where they'd managed to visualise the idea of what a hybrid car does. A drop of petrol is then helped by electricity to create something much more powerful.
The droplet began developing from very early stages. Like before we were even shooting, we were discussing the look of it, the feel of it, the sound of it, how it was going to move, the speed it would move in comparison to how the speed of everything else was moving.
How were we going to make a droplet of fuel break glass? Well, obviously it's impossible. So when we looked at the droplet and played back during the test, to me it looked very much like a glass marble. So that's what we started with. We used a glass marble and used that to impact the glass to get that first shot.
The best, most spectacular stuff for me was just the glass, just watching it shatter at 12,000 frames per second.
I don't think I've ever seen glass smashed in slow motion like that before.
That is amazing, that is.
But that is amazing. Absolutely mesmerising. The way it shattered that glass and broke through it, you even saw the wave across it.
So yeah, it was definitely a pleasant surprise to see that it looked not only as good as I imagined, but even better than that.
One thing we needed to then work out is how we were going to create sheets of glass that fell. And when we did the testing back at base, we found the best way to do it was to have a giant sheet of polyboard or even poly or wood, put all the glass across it, so when we tipped it, it meant that we had a shower of glass and it was constantly moving more and more glass through shot.
I had a medic hired, just definitely in case things went wrong. I mean, it had so much broken glass everywhere, ridiculous, and we were pouring it from the roof down. We had two guys up in the thing pouring glass behind the car and it was going into that.
The creative team had done a brilliant job of coming up with fun items that kind of almost visualised cars of the past and motoring of the past that we were exploding.
We wanted the objects to have a meaning and a relevance to what we kind of see as being the old way of driving, so we used a cassette tape and some furry dyes that kind of reminds you of that vintage, old school object that, I don't know, my granddad would have in his car.
And that kind of tongue-in-cheek attitude I felt needed to be running through the whole advert. So changing the music to a classical piece and making it more fun just suddenly made that car a little bit more lovable, I think.
To watch Dean just directing and having such a clear idea of what he wanted to achieve that was so in line with what we envisioned creatively.
It's been amazing to see an idea actually come to life and be involved in every single step of the process.
It was actually quite a lot of fun. I mean, who doesn't like blowing stuff up?